I am surprised to see that one so low on your list. Ha ha! So low. But
welcome back. We are Garner Brothers movie lovers, and I am Josh, and this is...
I'm Chris.
Yep, and with our powers combined...
Today, we are ranking all the Star Wars movies from worst to best. Each of us have our own list. We have not shown one another our list. We will start at the bottom. The very worst film, we will give 1 point. The very best film, we will give 11 points. At the end, we'll see which film has the highest score and reveal our overall winners.
Yeah.
Should we get started?
Oh, you know what else I was going to do? If we were to combine the audience scores and the critical scores from Rotten Tomatoes and see what, like, the entire world's combined ranking was. Because, as we all know, every single person in the world
uses those websites. Those people don't matter. Our opinion is worth more than all
That's
of
true.
theirs.
This is the definitive ranking of the Star Wars movies.
That's right. And if you don't agree with us, that is because you are wrong.
Yeah, well, we called George, and he has given us the patent for making the official review.
That's right. George Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We call him George. In case you guys weren't following that. All right. Shall we begin?
Yeah. Why don't you tell me yours first?
Okay. The worst Star Wars film is Attack of the Clones.
That is also my worst Star Wars.
Aha! It gets 1 point from each of us for a grand total of 2 points. It will be the worst one.
You know what we could use more of after episode 1? More politics. And that kid who played Anakin wasn't very good, so let's be consistent and get another terrible actor to play Anakin. I think everybody's acting was about as good as a cardboard cutout, and...
The acting was bad, but some of the fault has to be on the director.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of these actors are great in other movies.
Natalie Portman's an Academy Award-winning actress.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor can be great.
Yes.
He's not always great, but he can be.
Yeah. My least favorite thing about that movie is just how naggy Obi-Wan Kenobi is, actually. Like, the whole time, he's like riding Anakin for everything he does wrong, like, you must learn to control blah, 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 Anakin.
Anakin's attitude is really annoying, too.
Yes, master. Yeah, the interplay between those two is terrible. The interplay between Anakin and Padme, every time they have a scene together, it's like negative chemistry. Terrible film.
It is worse than Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst.
All right, next worst film.
Solo. For my second
Solo.
worst. I hate that movie, you
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
Every single moment is absolutely unnecessary. So if you've been watching The Mandalorian, there's an episode where he starts in space and bad guys are chasing him. Bad guys shoot him down, he crash lands on Tatooine. By the end of the episode, he's killed any interesting characters that are in that episode, and his ship is fixed, and he's back in space. It is the epitome of a filler episode, and Solo is the epitome of a filler episode for the Star Wars franchise. It just makes me angry when you have an entire movie that is purely for making some money.
Yeah.
There's no development in any characters. You even forget it's a Han Solo movie until somebody calls him Han every once in a while, and you see Chewie's there. And
You know what? Your dishwasher's on.
oh my gosh. What do we do? I thought I had made some amazing argument and you were going to change your mind, and then you were like, your dishwasher's on.
I will give my thoughts on Solo when I rank it.
Yeah, no, that's
Because
great.
mine are different than yours.
That's great.
My second to worst Star Wars film is Revenge of the Sith. It has all the problems of the previous film. It's a little bit better because there's just more epicness to it. The lightsaber duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end is actually really good, I think. It's still, Anakin and Padme every time they're on screen together. Next worst.
I have The Rise of Skywalker.
I should not be surprised by that, and neither should you if you watched our review of that video, but if you haven't, you should go watch it. We've said all that needs to be said about that one, probably. We did not like it, but you especially hated it.
I really don't want to talk about that ever again for the rest of my life.
Okay. My third to worst spot, getting 3 points for me, is The Phantom Menace. I gave the prequels a hat trick. They are the worst movies,
And I thought,
in my opinion.
I thought going into this that I would be the same, but after rewatching all of them, I didn't hate them all as much as I hated Solo and Rise of the Skywalker.
Which one are you giving 4 points to?
4 points is Phantom Menace. So that is a
7 points for that one.
yes.
Which is also what Rise of Skywalker is going to have, because that's my next one.
There you go.
The worst non-prequel Star Wars film for me.
Fair enough. Did you know that it is the lowest ranked Star Wars movie on the tomato meter ever?
Really?
It is.
I feel like a lot of Star Wars fans think that the prequels get better as they go. Like, I think a lot of people like Revenge of the Sith the best of the prequels, and like Phantom Menace the worst. But you and I both put Phantom Menace at the top of the prequels. No? We haven't gotten to Revenge of the Sith yet for you. Ah, okay.
Nope. But I do like it better than Attack of the Clones. I think
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones is really bad. I was also sad to realize that I feel like about half the movies in Star Wars are just not good. That's a sad thing. That's sad.
Well, especially because for decades, the Star Wars movies were like
The best movies
the best
ever.
Well, I do think The Phantom Menace is better than the other prequels, if only for the Darth Maul fight at the end.
The Darth Maul fight
I
is so
love
amazing.
that scene. I don't mind the pod racing. I know some people have a problem with that. I'm gonna give Anakin a pass. He was a little kid. His acting isn't stupendous, but he's fine. And because there's not really a romance between him and Padme at that point, there's no cringiness that way, except for that one line that's kind of...
Are you an angel?
Yeah. And you got Liam Neeson in there, who I really like. So
I read this
the most
thing
fun.
recently that talked about how this was one of the first times for a lot of these actors being on a set where everything was green
Was CG,
screen.
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And you can tell whenever anything happens, everyone's reactions are just this. Every time. Giant fish is like eating them, and everyone is like, there's a giant fish eating us.
There's some scenes too.
Except for Jar Jar Binks, who is just constantly losing his mind. And everyone else is just so stoic, but the only computer animated person in the shot is always...
Yeah.
There was a lot of computer animation
Yeah.
going on,
And you can tell, like now, you can totally tell the computer animation has not aged well. Plus, you can tell that they're in kind of a small space sometimes, and when they're supposed to be in a big space, like they're supposed to be having a conversation while they're walking down a hall, but watch their feet. Look at how slowly they're actually walking, because the truth is they really don't have as big a space to walk in, and so they're trying to pretend that they're in this big space, and they're walking so slow. So, anyway, yeah. I don't have anything more to say about that. Which Star Wars movie are you going to give 5 points to?
Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, there it is. And I will give that to The Last Jedi.
Okay. We've both now mentioned Revenge of the Sith. You kind of mentioned stuff about it.
Yeah.
I feel like Obi-Wan and Anakin are together less in this movie than
It's
they
true.
were in the last one. And
Yeah.
so that didn't, like, neither character bothered me as much.
True.
And then I really liked watching the Emperor for some reason in this movie more than I remembered. I thought that battle at the end with Obi-Wan and Anakin is really pretty awesome. And in our last video, you talked about not believing Anakin's turn to the dark side because he like killed Mace Windu and then immediately fell down on his knees. And there was more to it. I was thinking while I was watching, Palpatine is manipulating him early on, trying to get him to join him, but then that one scene, you're right, is so dramatic.
It's just so jarring.
And I think that scene isn't out of place. Or when he's about to kill, he's reversing the electrocution back to him. He's turning into the wrinkly old scary man. Anakin says that he needs him alive because he's had his visions that Padme's going to die. And Palpatine has told him that he can keep her alive. Then he kills Mace Windu. That all made sense, and that was all fine. But it's immediately
the moment
after
when
that,
he kneels down and he's like,
I pledge myself to your teachings. I will do whatever you ask.
that is the moment, like, what? Yeah. And when you have a whole series that's supposed to like tell the story of his turning to the dark side, and that's it just kind of wrecks a lot. Like, I agree with you. There is a lot of setup, a lot of things that lead to his turn, but the actual moment for me, it had to be something different. It had to be something more believable than that.
I had a friend tell me recently that he wishes that instead of getting all his robotic limbs from Obi-Wan just doing one fatal swoop,
slice.
He said that he wishes that all of the Jedi were killed one by one from Anakin, and he would have lost his limbs in battles with individual Jedis.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
That would have been really cool. Have you seen the GIF? There was the part where he says, "I have the high ground" or whatever, and then it cuts to him down, like hanging.
With Darth Maul.
Darth Maul's up there, and he's like slamming the thing around, and then it shows him jump up and cut him in half. And then he says, "I always have the high ground." And then Darth Maul just kind of blinks and falls back. And I was
it was awfully nice of Darth Maul to let him jump over him all the way and then cut him in half. The fifth to worst Star Wars movie for me was Last Jedi. Had some major problems for me. But after seeing The Rise of Skywalker, I liked Last Jedi better. So it's higher up on my list. I respect that movie more now.
Oh, you know what else I was going to say while we were talking about The Phantom Menace is, I can't remember that article I shared with you. Do you remember what the name of the movie was going to be?
I saw it.
It was
Duel of the Fates. Yeah, it's the name of the piece of music that John Williams composed for the Darth Maul fight.
It's a good name.
Which is awesome music in context. That whole... Can I just say, all of these movies benefited enormously from John Williams' music. So much.
It is really great.
Or John Powell's music in the case of Solo. I honestly think John Powell's music did that movie a lot of favors.
Okay, this is where we're going to start upsetting a lot of people. Where I'm going to start upsetting a lot of people, I think. Tell me your number 6, I guess. Is that where we're at?
Yes, and it's Solo.
Okay, so that's 8 points for Solo.
Mm-hmm. And can I, before you say what yours is, can I just defend Solo for 1 minute?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Obviously this is not the end of the video, but it is the end of the video. We're going to split this one into 2. We've had some feedback telling us to make our videos a little bit shorter. So I decided to go ahead and cut this one in half, make it into 2 videos. But make sure to be on the lookout for part 2 of this video. And we'll see you next time.